Well, as you've seen by the beginning of the video, I am going to build the stealth bomber, the B-2 stealth bomber. This is the Testors edition, and it is in 1/72 scale. The width of this thing from wingtip to wingtip is 28 5/8 inches, almost 29 inches across. I didn't realize that it was this big. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on this. I'm actually going to build this, and I'm going to postpone two of the builds that I have going at the moment. I'm going to postpone the Deadpool build, and I'm going to postpone the Star Wars Star Destroyer build, because this has been calling my name for a while, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off. I'm the type person that if I don't build something that keeps picking at me, then I'm not really wasting my time, but I'm spinning my wheels more or less. Because if I'm thinking about like this, if I'm thinking about this model, then I'm not doing the things that I need to do in an orderly fashion on the other builds. So I have to satisfy my need, and I'm going to build the stealth bomber. So I'm going to pause here for a minute, and then I will show you the instructions, decals, and the parts. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the decals. And I'm not sure, someone out there may know, this was in the box, and it seems like that I have two sheets of decals. And the reason I'm thinking that they're, get them right side up, these are scale mates. I'm sorry, scale master. I'll get it right in a minute. Scale master. And these are the Testors decals. So I'm thinking this is an aftermarket set, because it gives you the lines and where the original set doesn't. It's got a lot of the same markings, but this is what you would get in the kit if you bought this kit. Like I say, I just got lucky and got a second set, a better set. And then the instruction booklet, get that card out of the way, you can get a mail-in card. There's not a lot of parts to this, but there are not a lot of parts to the model, but there is actually 18 steps to get you there. And at 29 inches, almost 29 inches, this is going to be a monster. And I'm not going to call out stuff. I'm just going to page through the instruction sheet here, just give you a once over. This is the painting and decal guide. And like I say, there is not a lot of parts. There's 5 color sprue and then the clear parts. And here is one of the, this is the one that's got the majority of the parts on it. Got some air intakes and some panels there. And then you got the bombs, which I'm assuming were probably nukes, since this thing carried a lot of nukes. I won't say carried a lot, but it carried nukes as well as regular bombs. And landing gear. And I intend on doing a little lighting on this, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the wings. It's got raised panel lines. It's got some engraved panel lines, but on the wings here, it's the raised panel lines, and they've got the what are these called on the? They're not ailerons, and they're not elevators. Elevons, I think is what they're called. Pretty sure that's what they are. But like I say, if someone knows, then they can correct me. And then here is the other wing assembly. This is the 3rd sprue. And then you got the top and bottom of the fuselage, main fuselage. And you can see it's got raised panel lines, and then back here I still got to raise. Where did I see the? Oh, here you go. This is the bottom section. You can see it's got some engraved panel lines. So, and this thing being in 172 scale, you know, that's a good sized cockpit for being in 172 scale. Well, like I say, it builds out 29 inches. You know, just a little bit shy of 29 inches. So now what I'm planning to do is one of the things that got me looking at building this kit was I ran across a picture of a built model, and it had lights. You know me with lights, I love to put lights in everything, you know. So I'm going to, and although there's not much detail in the cockpit, I'm going to put an LED in there. I'm going to look and see what it would be the appropriate color, whether it be a green LED or a SMD. It's going to be a little chip SMD, or a red SMD. I'm not 100% sure. And on the underneath, I will light up the landing gear bays, which will be the front here and then the two bays here. And all I'm going to do here is just have some accent lighting, drop down, you know, a light shining down onto the landing gear, and then the runway underneath. And I plan on putting the red and green marker lights on it. It's not going to have any flashes. It's just going to look good in static mode. Like I say, there won't be any flashing lights or whatever. I'm kind of intending on putting this on a runway section of runway, but if I do that, then it's going to be a huge piece of runway. But what I may do is just make one just, you know, a couple inches wider than the landing gear, and then, you know, I don't know, let's see, I don't know, probably 12, 14 inches, possibly 12, 14 inches square, maybe 10 by 14 or something. We'll see. But I do want to have it on a little diorama base of just nothing but the runway. I have it sitting on the edge of the runway. And one more thing here is the cockpit canopy, and then it's got the, and I'm not going to take these out of the package. I apologize for the rattling, and it's got some clear lenses there for the lights. So it'll have the landing lights. It will have the, I say landing lights, it'll have the landing gear lights, and then it will have cockpit lighting, and then the red and green directional or navigational lights. So that's it. Going to go ahead and get started on it. This is an update on the B-2 bomber. I'm kind of not following directions, which I normally don't do. It has, you glue the two fuselage halves here together, and then the two wing sections together, and then put it all together. And this kit is an ill-fitting kit. I've known it for a while. I've seen other people build it. It has gap issues on the wings, top and bottom. There's a pin method that you got a little kind of hook deal that you have to hook the wing into a tab here, and then there's a pin on the back about in here. And when you put the two wings together and then try to put it together, it's a nightmare trying to get the contour right. You're virtually not going to get it all together seamless across the top. The bottom wing is the same way. So what I did and attacked it this direction is I put it together, and you can see I put tabs underneath to help align the wings. I've still got to come back over here and actually I think it's this one. one of these two. It might be this one. Anyway, I got to glue it because this is a big monster. Got to take it way out to flip it around. Actually, it's right here, this one. So it'd be the there's no way to get a tab in there to glue it, and it's virtually, it's extremely hard to get it to line up. So I'm just going to super glue the crap out of it, put some kicker on it, and we're done. It needs to line up, and it's not lining up, but I can push it in the line, and as you can see, I have put glue on there, but it just don't want to stay. That's why I put these tabs on, because you have no glue surface because of the gap between the wings. And you can see I've got it lined up pretty much, but then you can see behind, as I move it around, you can see the background. There's virtually nothing in there to touch it, so you can't glue it together. And this is the tab system here. You got this this tab sticks out off the fuselage, and then you got that little rectangle peg deal that slides in and then hooks into it. And this is supposed to be a pin on. Well, what I did here was I just shaved the pin off because it kept this from sitting down where it needed to be, because it was so hard to push together. So I just done away with the pin. And the same way with this, it's not so bad on this side. You can still see just a little bit of a, well, you can't see it now. I fixed that part, but this wing, it went together fairly well, and you can see the gap issues all along here, which I will address all that with tulip, same as the one across here. I don't want the seam to be completely gone, but I do want it less than what it is. I thought about lighting up the engines. Before I get onto that, let me show you the bottom wing. I had to do the tabs. The bottom wing is not so bad, but I had to do a tab here on each side because of had the same type issue. It's all lined up, which I got glued. I got to clean up where I clamped it. It is lined up really nice because there's more glue surface. There's not so much here, but then it glues to the inside or the outside edge of the landing gear, and then you can see you got this big honking gap here. It's just an ill-fitting kit, and like I say, I will attack that with tulip when the time comes. I'll just run a bead of tulip through there and wipe it off, and then that'll do away with all that gap. You'll still see a little bit of a seam, but I'm not worried about that. Decided not to put, this is the missile bay. I've decided not to put that in, and I'm going to magnetize. I'm going to put a little bracket here and a bracket here, put magnets on the door and on here, and this is going to be my battery compartment. So got the hole drilled out here, so when I put my battery in, the battery will be shifted to the front, and then I could put the wires that come off the battery clip and into the hole here. And I will tie a knot. You can see the hole there. I will tie a knot to where, when you're changing the battery, you can't pull the wires out but so far, otherwise you may pull something loose. I've got the holes drilled for the landing gear lights, not bay, but landing gear lights. It is kind of flimsy until you get it all glued together, and it will firm up there. Everything will be braced up. Now I started to put cut out the engines and have a little bit of a red glow coming from the engines, but since this thing doesn't have any pilots, and you can see in there I've got the cockpit pretty much lined out. You don't see much of the cockpit because that big old dash that's on there, you can just see the top edges of the seats. But since you don't have pilots in the thing, it's just going to be sitting on the runway. The lights are going to be on, and nobody's home. But instead of it having the engines glowing and ready to take off, it's just sitting on the runway on idle, more or less, and so the afterburners are not kicked in or whatever. The wingtip lights, trying to address the the issue of how I'm going to light them. Now, from what I've seen from the pictures, the lights are staggered. You got, your nav lights that are on here. The top one is to the inside a little bit, and then when you get underneath, they're not perpendicular. They're not straight up and down here, whatever. One is in one position, and then when you come down to the bottom wing, it's moved over, and they're kind of staggered. Mine are not going to be. So what I intend to do is I'm going to clamp the wings, or clamp the whole thing together so I get it all lined up, and then I'm going to drill a hole all the way through. And I've got this big chunk of fiber optic, excuse me, that I will straighten it out. And I'm going to sand the sides of it and mushroom probably just the top of it so I can clip the bottom where I need it. Then lay my LED to where my LED is going out toward the hole here, right up next to the hole. And so when the fiber optic goes through, the LED is shooting on the side of it, and I'll be able to, it'll glow in the top and the bottom. I don't know how else to do it because there's not enough room really to have a LED going up and down on both sides. And but I'll check it out. I may be able to do it. I would really like to have them staggered, but it is what it is. Like that. And as you can see from the wire there, I've already got the light inside the cockpit. I got a little red SMD. Other things here working on. This is the landing gear. I've got the landing gear kind of put together. I've got it got a little bit more cleanup to do on them, and I don't know why that is. Man, it's showing that it's extremely bright. Hang on, there we go. So I got to clean up, do a little more cleanup. Then I'm gonna prime them and paint them white, as well as the bays there. And then and you can see the putty on my fingers. I just puttied the seams on the tires. This kit does have a good little bit of flash on it, and I think the tires had most of it. So when you put the tires together and you clean up the flash off of them, it does leave a little bit of an issue that you got to fix up. So I just put a little putty on them to get them lined out. But that's it. I'm moving a little slower than normal. Kids are out on spring break, and then you got this big virus scare, but I'm going to go ahead and probably next thing up on the agenda is get the wingtip lights sorted out. So I think that's going to be it on this, and I will just catch you in the next update. And so we have the final on the B-2 stealth bomber. This was a very fun build. Finished it up just a little while ago. Should have went with a little darker gray on the top. That way the decals would have stuck out a little better. But I think it looks pretty good as it is. I really like how it turned out. I didn't put all of the head. It had probably 60 of the little no step decals, and I put them on the back, and I put some on the wingtips. But I didn't put them everywhere. I guess I should have, but this is a lot of fun to build, and I'm running into the paint over there. All right, still doing it. There we go. This thing's a monster. It's a 29 inches from wingtip to wingtip, just a little under 29 inches. It is a monster. And I will I'll turn the lights on here in just a minute. It does have lights in the landing gear, lights in the cockpit, and I've got the red and the green navigational lights. I didn't put anything in the engines, but I'll take the camera off the mount here in just a little bit and show you. I'm going to spin it around here first what I'm going to do is, I guess I'll spin it around and get the lights turned on. And I'll show you. I can go ahead and do that. Show you underneath. This is the battery compartment here, and I don't know if I can get it off here without a tool. There we go. You can see the 9-volt battery is tucked away. I've got a couple of pieces of metal there for the bracket, and then I've got magnets under the door here, and so I'm trying to do this while I'm looking through the viewfinder, and it just snaps back into place. Here is the on-off switch. Just a little slide switch. It's got the nav lights underneath, green one there, red one there, and then it has the same thing on top. And I'll go ahead and switch them on. Flip this bad boy back over. And everything is nice and solid, but anytime I build a model like this using the kit landing gear, it's got plastic landing gear. The back landing gear I'm not so worried about, but the front landing gear is very precarious. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off and just kind of give you a look around the model and give you a shot from underneath. And one thing that I did with the front landing gear door, it was supposed to be closed behind the landing gear. All I did was shift it back. It's like, I made it look like it's a sliding door that just slides back and the landing gear goes up under. Not 100% sure if that's what it really is, but that's how I done this one. That way I could have the light in the landing bay shining down. So this turntable, I guess I'm going to do something a little different with this turntable. You can see the red nav light there. Tell you what, let me go ahead and kill some of these overhead lights. There we go. Give it a little bit of shadow. And there's a nav light. You can see underneath how the lights look. Then backing up a little bit, 'cause I don't want to get taken out by the wing. You can see the green nav light. It's the same underneath as well. Like I say, this was a very fun build, and I was going to build something else, but and I opened the box, and the decals are just shot. I was going to build the YB35, the prop job, and the model box was sealed. The decals were sealed inside the poly bag inside with the styrene, and they were tucked inside the decals, or inside the instructions. So, and they were still yellowed as can be. But give me a little look at the. Now, the decals are not 100% straight. I done the best I could with them. I did go in and fill the seams along the wings and all the major gaps. You can see that the major gaps are gone for the most part. Ooh, let's not do that. Done a wheelie there for a second. But these decals, man, I absolutely love them. They're Scale Master decals, and they were only had one break on me, and they are just absolutely paper thin, and you can't even tell that they're decals. They look like they're painted on, which is just extremely excellent. My 3 emblems here, the back of it should have been down just a little more. And one thing I did have about the decals, these dots, it was number 10 on the sheet. It's supposed to be 4 dots, and they were notorious for folding back on themselves, and that's what happened with this one. So it ended up just with 3 dots. So, and I'm going to turn the light back on. But yeah, this was a blast to build. So hope you like it. Went with got everything flat coated, everything is sealed in, and we're done. So like I say, hope you hope you enjoyed the little build. And yeah, once again, there was a major jump between the last update and the final. I just get into a groove, and I like working, and I just don't take the time out to shoot video. If I run across something that I feel is, you know, very important or whatever, then I'll do something. You know, I'll shoot some video on it, but I'm just having fun. So that's it on my B-2. Got another little project. And I said I was going to get back to the Deadpool and the Star Destroyer. I've got something else I got decals in today for, that I'm going to go ahead and start it, something I've been wanting to do, so I'm going to go ahead and start that. I actually going to go ahead and build it. I keep saying I'm going to start it, but just like this, I'm going to build it, and then once I get that out of the way, I'm going to try to get back on the Star Destroyer, and I'll work some on Deadpool as well. But let's get it back around here for the money shot, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next build.